Well, it's Black History Month, and we will definitely be celebrating and highlighting all things historic within the African American community. Now, tonight, our first of 4 conversations surrounding Black cinema and the impact it has had on culture. 2 film students and our movie guide, Dave Morales from Backstage OL, join me now to talk about some movies, specific comedies. Take a look. And our guests are joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about your favorite movies that may have made a difference in your lives from the African-American perspective. And of course, we still had to bring in Dave Morales. From Backstage OL. We also have Lauren Taylor and Taylor Miller, both who are film students at Howard University. Ladies, welcome to The Factor. So we're looking at 2 different movies now, Coming to America and Friday. So Taylor, when we think about Coming to America, how did that make a difference in your parents' lives, your life as a film student? How significant is it?
For Coming to America for me was really just a movie where I could see bridging the gap of like African and Black Americans, and also like seeing Black love on screen, seeing Black people own businesses, just be in high levels of society. And so for me, like watching that movie was just like, wow, like we're funny, we're smart, we're businessmen, we can be royalty, and we fall in love. So that was like a really, good mix for me. And my parents loved it.
And Lauren, from your perspective, what did it bring to the table for you?
So I would say that it was good for Africans, like how they used to have like a stigma when growing up and people would talk about them or different things like that. So that movie kind of like made it where like, yeah, there's royalty in Africa. We're not just, like poor and things of that nature. So I feel like that movie definitely added a lighthearted factor to the entire thing, and the entire situation. I really enjoyed the movie.
And Dave Morales from Backstage OL, what we had there in Coming to America, especially for Black people, was a break from all the damn slave movies. That's all Hollywood would deliver to us. Slave movie after slave movie, 20 years a slave, 30 years a slave. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, finally, we get away from the slave movie. Dave, your take on that.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And with what the ladies have said, I agree with as well. I made a couple of notes, Isaiah, to answer your question. This particular film not only did amazing things for the careers of Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, but it showed African wealth. Like you were talking about the slave movies. Well, this is African wealth. But at the heart of this story is love for family. The McDowell's storyline, Eddie Murphy falling in love with the character, and trying to just be himself and not assume for what he was known for. And again, going back to the royalty line, but I love the fact, and it was a comedy. And that was another note that I wrote down. It was a comedy, but it was teaching these life lessons and the representation that we've all spoke of, today. And I think for a lot of people, comedy is a good way because you're not dealing with serious issues. You're dealing with, issues that should be discussed and should be presented, but I think more people are going to relate to it, given the comedy setting of the film. One interesting note, though, Isaiah, and it's an actor that I've interviewed several times, Samuel L. Jackson. This was one of his earlier, first films, and we all remember him, robbing the McDowells. But he had an interesting perspective, agreeing kind of what we're saying with the fact that there's so many themes to this film delivered in a comedy setting that I think that the mass audiences can relate to, which is a good thing because it does spark the conversations like the one we're having today.
Absolutely. And the cult hit that we're talking about next is Friday. Everyone remembers Friday. So Lauren, let's begin with you.
I love Friday. I love all of the Fridays, but I definitely feel like the comedy in Friday is forever lasting. People like refer to that movie in different scenes. There's still memes going on today about Friday. Like Friday was a staple movie, and all of the sequels to come was a staple in the Black community. I love that movie.
And Taylor?
Yes, I love Friday just because Ice Cube's prior movies, he did Boys in the Hood and it was like a tragic thing. But Friday kind of like took that like comedic relief spin, like, hey, like, yeah, this is the hood, but like they are living their lives and they're having fun and they can laugh and have a good time. And so I really appreciated like the comedy and just like the long lasting moments that we still refer to today.
And our expert, Dave Morales, what do you have to say about Friday?
Well, one word. We got the word Debo. And, which,
hey, but really
yeah.
quick, Dave, that was bullying and standing up to a bully.
Yeah, there you go.
Life lesson.
Yep, there you go. And again, like we talked about coming to America in a comedy setting, Tommy Lister Jr. played Debo, rest his soul. But you had life in South Central LA, and I was working in LA around the time at a radio station. So the reality was bringing the hood to a mass audience, but in a funny way. Talking about weed. The line, we got all the lines from the movie, like, you got nothing to do today, you lost your job, I'm going to get you high. But it was relatable in the sense that there are also life struggles there and how they dealt with everyday life growing up and living in South Central LA in a funny setting. I hope we get another one, by the way. And Isaiah, one last thing. Do you know, and I when I was doing the research for us talking today, I had no idea that the term "Bye Felicia" actually came from Friday. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go.
I remember that. I totally remember that. Great movie, and great conversation, guys. Thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight.